So welcome everyone. My name is Anthony if it's your first time to the channel, and today our guitar lesson is going to be on blending the minor and major pentatonic patterns together. We're going to do one class, one lesson, one video on each pattern so you can see the two together, and I'll show you how I practice running them. So let's get right into it. We'll start with the first pattern. So we're going to start an A here in the middle so you can see clearly in the middle, and we're going to start with the first pattern. So I'll put the patterns up here just so you can see them as we go along. But if you're not familiar with these 5 patterns of the minor pentatonic scale, go to the minor pentatonic series and do them there first. Take all 5 of those classes, get a little familiar with the patterns, and then come back here to practice this, okay? Because we're going to be blending both of them together, and it can get a little confusing if you're not familiar with the patterns already. Now, when you blend the 2 patterns together, as we discussed before, also, if you haven't watched the major pentatonic from the minor pentatonic video, is how to come to the major pentatonic scale from the minor pentatonic, which are the same scale, just moving positions, the patterns up and down a little bit. We're going to be blending those 2 together. The first position is, and patterns right here, okay, so that's the first pattern in A minor. Now, the first pattern of the major pentatonic scale that starts on the root note A is the same as the second pattern of the minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so we're going to be blending those 2 patterns in the same position. So it can get a little confusing, but try not to overthink it too much. All we're doing is we're putting both of the patterns together because these 2 patterns, major and minor pentatonic, you can use them over a blues shuffle and interchangeably, and they give a really unique sound if you change up the scales. So just so you have an idea of what notes you can use, and you can play around with blending them together however you like. But this is how I recommend practicing them so you get familiar with both of the patterns and are able to see both at the same time. So the second pattern would again start on the root A. This is the major pentatonic, second position if you're starting from back here on the F sharp, minor pentatonic, you move up to the second position, and that's where A major pentatonic starts. So the second position would be, now how I recommend practicing them is running up in the minor pentatonic first position and running back down in the major pentatonic first position, which is the second position of the minor pentatonic. I know it can get a little confusing, so if you feel confused with the patterns, again, go to those other classes, take those classes first and get familiar with them, because a lot of the stuff we're talking about in this class will be based on all of the stuff from the minor pentatonic series and the major pentatonic series. So the first pattern down, first pattern of the A minor pentatonic scale. Then I would switch to the first pattern of the major pentatonic scale, which would be putting your finger on the 7th fret and then the 5th fret. So 7th, 7-5 on the 2nd string, 6-4 on the 3rd string, then 7-4 on the 4th, 7-4 on the 5th, and 7-5 on the 6th. And then I would reverse that and do it the other way as well. So run up on the major pentatonic, which would be what I just told you in the last pattern coming down. So and then switch to the first position of the minor pentatonic. So put your pinky on the 8th fret, 5th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret, 5th fret, 3rd string, 7-5, 4th string, 7-5, 5th string, 7-5, and 6th string, 8-5. Now how that would sound just doing it smoothly would be... Then the other way around. So that would be blending the two together. So just so you get a feel of how the two blend together, which notes are in both and which notes are only in one or the other. And so I'm going to show you a pattern now. Here's the pattern where they're both blended together. And the blue notes are going to be the minor pentatonic scale. The orange notes are going to be the major pentatonic scale. So some of the blue notes will also be in the major pentatonic, but the orange notes will be just in the major pentatonic. They'll be the notes that are in the major pentatonic that are not in the minor pentatonic. Now, what's fun about this is you can blend them together and really play around with it. This is where the jamming comes in, right? Put on a blues backing track. A minor or A blues backing track, right? Key of A blues backing track, and just you can find them on YouTube and type it in and just play around with it. You just mess around with the different chords. You can start in the minor pentatonic pattern, you know, and then like switch to the major pentatonic. So you can come up here and start here. Or you can blend them together. So sometimes you can use notes from both, right? So this note, these two notes on the third string, the fourth and sixth fret, for example, are in the major pentatonic, but this fifth fret is not. That's in the minor pentatonic. So a cool thing like you can do is, for instance, taking this note from the minor pentatonic and putting it into the major pentatonic, and it'll make it sound a little bit bluesy. So hammering on from the fifth fret to the sixth fret, and then picking the fifth fret on the second and first string, like this. You know? Okay, so just playing around with stuff like that. And just really let yourself mess around, let yourself get used to it. Just go down the pattern. And you can mix this with the three note runs as well. So if you go to my video for 3-note runs in the minor pentatonic scale, so remember, try not to be impatient, right? It takes patience, it takes time. I'm putting all this stuff on here because I want you to have the resources when you get to the point where you can do this stuff. But don't rush it. You don't have to rush through these videos. Like, go practice until you get something smooth and fluid. Your timing, your speed picks up a little bit, you get more accurate, then come to the next video. But if you've already done the minor pentatonic series, the major pentatonic video, and you've also taken the 3-note runs in the minor pentatonic video, then you can blend these all together, all these exercises, so you don't have to do a bunch of separate exercises. You can make your own exercises that combine all of them. For example, we're going one way in the minor pentatonic first position, the other way in the major pentatonic first position, which is the second position of the minor pentatonic, right? So we're blending those two together, going one way up or down and opposite, switching. So we're using the first position down, second position up, and then switching, the second position down, first position up, okay? Now, you can do this with the 3-note runs as well. So it would sound like this. If we go pattern 1 going down, and then I would switch and pattern 2 coming up. So and then reverse, go back up in the second position using the 3-note runs. And then switching to the first position of the minor pentatonic. Okay. So again, try not to get overwhelmed. Try to do one at a time. Do the sliding minor pentatonic video practice before you come to this one. So this is a later practice because it's more complicated. It's going to be combining 2 different scales at once. And just, be patient with yourself. The way I recommend practicing is split your time, however much time you have. Say you have 20 minutes to practice, right? A day, or 10 minutes, whatever it is, 20 minutes hopefully. If it's 20 minutes, then take 10 minutes to do some of these more tedious exercises. Don't try to do them all. It's better to do one and really get a lot of practice in it. So if you're doing, say, just running up and down the positions of the minor pentatonic, then just go up and down like... Go up to the second position. And keep going up. If you're going to do that one, then do that one until you have the patterns very well. Spend about 10 minutes doing that. And then spend 10 minutes doing learning something fun. In other words, like a song that integrates what you're learning. And I'm going to put a lot more tutorials on here for songs. And if you have any you want to learn, let me know and I'll put them on here. But I have a lot of acoustic songs tutorials on here and even some intros and endings for songs. So a lot of the Slash stuff, a lot of the Guns N' Roses stuff is pentatonic based. And I'm also going to be putting for this very reason, so you could start integrating it into something fun and enjoyable. Soon I'll be putting on a 30 days of pentatonic licks. So for 30 days in a row, I'll give you a new pentatonic lick you can learn that's in the pentatonic scale. We'll do it in some different keys and starting in different positions or moving through multiple positions so that you can get more fluid and used to it, okay? And we'll be doing that soon. I'm working on it now. And when I do that, what I recommend is like practicing this for about 10 minutes and for about 10 minutes doing some of that stuff. Practicing some of those licks because they're more fun. You're actually applying it, or you can practice those licks over a backing track, a blues backing track. So it's really fun. Or if you learn a solo that's in the pentatonic scale, okay, I'll start putting some full solos on here that are in the pentatonic scale, but some people you can look at if you're interested is like AC/DC is very pentatonic based, and Guns N' Roses, like a lot of rock, is pentatonic based. There will be other notes in there, but it's based on the pentatonic scale. So look for simple, solos that are approachable and you feel like you can definitely learn. Don't try to tackle something too insane like Sweet Child of Mine solo or like some Ozzy solo or something right away because it'll just be frustrating. Like you'll be trying to get stuff and it takes a while to get it that fast, and accurate. So try something that you feel like you can definitely do with practice, challenging yourself a bit, but nothing too crazy. And practice that for about 10 minutes. So 10 minutes of the exercises. If you're on acoustic guitar, I would say 10 minutes of practicing the chords, finger picking, and even the scales as well, because they're important. And then 10 minutes of practicing a song that you're learning, one of the tutorials or whatever song you're learning, all right? So I hope that's been helpful. And if you have any questions about the exercises, let me know. And until next time, take care. See you then.